Hey Bulls and Bears, it is Friday, February 25th, 2022. Another amazing day on Wall Street today, an amazing day in the markets. The manipulation is just getting bigger and bigger, more noticeable and more noticeable. Anyone that thinks this is a market based on any sort of economic data is kidding themselves. Let's take a look at what happened today in the markets. All major indexes in the green and big time. Dow Jones up over 800 points today. NASDAQ up 1.6%. Russell 2001 2.2%. S&P 500 2.2%. Gold and silver both slammed down today. Everything that you would expect to be happening with precious metals as a safe haven in times of uncertainty and uncertainty causing panic in the markets and sell-offs in the market. Everything is just the opposite of what should be happening, and that's because it's not a real market. This is not a real economy. This is manipulated to infinity. But we told you this. We told you this for years, and even yesterday I came out and I said, okay, if the talk of war and the war actually going hot doesn't bring these markets down, then nothing besides an entire blackout is going to bring this down. So we expect the markets to continue to march higher, and we predicted it yesterday and months ago and years ago. We predicted that these markets were completely fake and completely detached from reality. So in the face of all this uncertainty and war and bad economic news, Dow Jones up 800 points. What's going to stop it? You please let me know. Is it going to have to be nukes flying, towards America to stop this? Even then, I wouldn't be surprised if we were in the green on all the indexes. But let's take a look at this economic news that just came out here. We've got a lot of data news and info we want to cover here today. Another inflation gauge also coming to the same conclusion about a 40-year high on inflation, and it's up 5.2%. This is the PCE measure, and that's a year-over-year number. Now, of course, that is also too low, just like the CPI number that we look at here sometimes. All right, now this inflation index has some different ways of measuring, and the survey is done a little bit differently compared to the CPI and the WPI, the wholesale price index that we look at here. Each a little bit different, in some places a lot different, but what's not different is the result, and it's telling us that prices are continuing to rise and that there's not much of a slowdown. If any, we're seeing an acceleration in the cost of living, the cost of goods, products, services, etc. And we've been telling you that here for years. And again, I'm not sure why other channels, I have to mention this from time to time, I'm not sure why other channels are out there saying there's going to be a crash and deflation. We're not one of those channels. People telling you that I've been predicting a crash, they're thinking about the wrong channel. We've been talking about rising prices here forever. What we see now is completely different than what we saw in the financial crisis, the 2007 time period, where banks stopped lending and pulled back on the lending. It was very difficult to get a mortgage back then after the crisis started, and that caused falling prices. We're not seeing that now. Banks are completely unleashed and completely detached from any sort of regulation. They can keep lending out bigger and bigger mortgages. Even if the banks did pull back on the lending, I seriously doubt that the institutions that are coming in and buying homes are going to stop buying homes. In fact, if prices do begin to dip, you'll probably see an uptick in institutions buying homes. There's no law that says institutions cannot buy all the homes for sale. There's no law that says that. Anyone that tells you otherwise is completely wrong or just lying to you. So this thing could keep on going. I'm not saying there's not going to be something else to stop this. There could be a complete freeze up in the credit markets because of a black swan event. You always have to keep that in the back of your mind and prepare for that. But unless something catastrophic happens to black out the entire system, then you're going to continue to see prices rising higher. And for those people that said I was wrong, take a look at the markets today. Markets are up, even though we've got a hot war over in between Russia and Ukraine. What more evidence do you need that these markets are completely manipulated and going higher? And let's take a look at this market comeback. We did see the market go down, and this is the Dow Jones, as low as 33,270. Folks, they're still at it. They're keeping these markets propped up. Another 700-point swing today in the Dow Jones. And it looks like they're going to inflate their way through this economic collapse. So prepare yourself accordingly. Let's talk about this next. Looks like the plunge protection team over in Russia not so supportive. A 33% crash in stocks over in Russia. Now, something interesting about this is that the Russian ruble also crashed to an all-time low. So people are not running to the Russian ruble as a safe haven, even though their markets are getting hit pretty hard. All right, now, remember what I said just a couple reports ago. Will they use this as an excuse not to raise interest rates? Remember, I've been questioning that the whole time, and I think many of you have here as well. Are they going to find an excuse not to raise rates? Because they know there's so much debt, there's so much leverage. We've doubted the interest rate talking points, or that they were going to raise interest rates. So take a look at this article. Russia attack may nudge the Fed to less aggressive move next month. So less aggressive, does that mean no rate hike? Does that mean a 0.25% instead of a 0.5 point rate hike? Very interesting nonetheless, but really no surprise. You know, we kind of suspected that here by looking at all the pieces of this puzzle, that this might be a real convenient excuse not to raise rates. And that way, as prices continue to rise, they can say, sorry, we were going to raise rates. I know cost of living is too high, but there's a war and there's uncertainty because of the war. We have to keep rates low. No rate hikes. Right? I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying other people, including the gentleman in that article there, are talking about that exact same thing. Recent article out of Forbes. Alarming inflation data indicates prices could keep surging higher for months. Goldman Sachs warns. All right, same thing. No surprise to probably 99% of us here on this channel, those that actually listen to what I'm saying here. Price is going to continue to rise. No sign of prices slowing down or letting up. People telling you that the bubbles are going to pop. Ask them how the bubbles are going to pop with unlimited QE. The Fed now possibly maybe not even raising interest rates with this uncertainty out there with the war. I hope the Fed does raise interest rates. I hope they crash these markets. That would be beautiful for those of us that are prepared. Not so beautiful for the unprepared. But either way, profit from the bull, prepare for the bear. Blackouts, cyber attacks, outages could happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we talked just a couple reports ago about the possibility of that. It's not me saying that. It's our intelligence agencies and leaders are saying, they're preparing for attacks on the banks here in the U.S. Will that be the event that brings this house of cards down? You let me know down in the comments. And thanks for being here most of all. Big love to all of you. Stay prepared. Keep stacking. Bye for now. Peace.